even the at-bats where he doesn't drive guys in, he rips doubles down the line. I mean, it's every single game he's an impact player. It's remarkable. It really is.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian.
Stacey, back in the win column.
Back in the win column. It's another Friday. The weeks are going to go a lot faster with games happening, right?
Fly.
Yeah. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. We are previewing the weekend series, Yankees in Pittsburgh. That should be, well, it will be good for us watching it on TV because it's such a nice ballpark.
And earlier games.
Yeah, one of the best in baseball. It's Fanmail Friday, so we'll be doing that too. But first, let's discuss the series finale against the Diamondbacks. The Yankees salvage a win. And isn't it funny how much better 4-2 looks than 3-3, even though it's only a difference of one game?
In every sport, you can make that argument that 4-2 looks so much better than 3-3. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Aaron Judge joins a club of the most productive first 6 games to a season for the Yankees. The only other 2 players to ever have as productive of a first 6 games for the Yankees are Joe DiMaggio and Lou Gehrig. Pretty good company to be in.
Yeah, that's when you're a Yankee. There are certain guys you want to be linked with. There are also certain guys you don't want to be linked with. But Lou Gehrig and Joe DiMaggio are 2 of the guys that you really want to be. You want your name linked with them.
When it comes to offensive statistics, absolutely. You know, we don't run out of words, so I mean this very tongue in cheek, but it is the truth. Sometimes you run out of words to say about Aaron Judge. You really do. It almost goes by the wayside. Again, he had another multi-hit game, another game where he's productive. Even the at-bats where he doesn't drive guys in, he rips doubles down the line. I mean, it's every single game he's an impact player. It's remarkable. It really is.
Yeah. His first hit was the home run. It was his 500th extra base hit in his 999th game. It's
crazy.
It is. Yeah. He's the first player in Major League history with at least 5 home runs and 15 RBIs in the team's first 6 games of a season. He has more RBIs than the Rockies and the Braves, apparently. So
who are both off to atrocious starts. But I mean, to have more RBIs, I mean, he's got 15 RBIs, Stacey. We're not talking through 20 games. We're talking through 6 games. Yeah. I mean, 6 games. That's an absurd 6-game stretch through any part of the season. It's just crazy to start a season off this unbelievably hot after the poor spring training he had. That's what's crazy about this is he just picked it up and turned it around after spring training. It really is nuts. It's again, you lose words.
So I forgot about this. Let me pause this for a second because I forgot about this. The Yankees. So I have to bring this up because I thought it was really funny. The Yankees post their lineup on all different social medias, and they put it up in their Instagram stories. And I have my phone set to let me know whenever the Yankees put something up, just because I don't have Twitter anymore. So it's easier for me to keep track of things on Instagram. This was the first lineup that they put up in their Instagram stories. I think it was up for maybe 45 seconds. I may have been the only person who saw it, but it is real. I took a screenshot of this. I didn't even look at it when I took the screenshot. I was going into our little system to send it out to our insiders. And as I was looking at it, I was like, wait, this is so not right. I'll read it off. Anthony Volpe, Aaron Judge, DJ LeMahieu, Jazz Chisholm, Giancarlo Stanton, Oswald Peraza, Paul Goldschmidt, Austin Wells, Cody Bellinger, and the starting pitcher, Carlos Carrasco.
Yeah, I almost wanted to say that was an accidental post from a lineup they had a few years ago, but it's not because Carrasco and Bellinger are in there. So
no, and it's not because it's the same graphics from the past few days that they've been. So, like I said, I didn't notice it at first, and I only noticed it when I was going to send it out to the insiders. And I'm like, wow, Volpe's leading off. That's something. And then I saw LeMahieu, and I'm like, wait. Then I saw Stanton, and I'm like, what? Then I went back to Instagram, not even 2 minutes later, totally different lineup, the lineup that actually happened on Thursday night. So I just had to mention that quickly. Also, JC Escara.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Proud.
Double
Cool
for your
moment.
first major league hit. That's awesome. Grisham hit a home run. Jazz hit another home run. Jazz stole his 100th career base, his 19th as a Yankee. Yarbrough gave up a grand slam to Perdomo that made it 9-7. It made it a little scary, but Luke Weaver closed out the game. The Yankees win, so at least they salvage that and don't get swept. And again, 4-2 after 6 games and going on the road looks a lot better.
You take it. You take it.
All right, so it's that time of week. It is Fan Mail Friday, and we're going to do 2 questions together because they're both asking about the same person. So first question is from Betty. As usual, if you're new to the show, we have an Insiders Club. The Insiders get top priority on Fan Mail Friday. They send us questions through that club. So if you want to join it, there's a 14-day free trial, and you can be featured first on Fan Mail Friday. So Betty says, before my question, just an FYI that the guy who developed the torpedo bats was once on staff at a community college here in Montana. He's come a long way. My question is, if Rice continues to hit well, how will they manage that if Stanton is able to return? Then insider David F., who's usually number 2 when I set up the questions every Friday, asked or says, loving the way Ben Rice is hitting this season. How do you see his role evolving as the year goes on? Love the show. Figured they're similar questions because how will his role evolve if Stanton does come back?
Yeah, Ben Rice needs to be given a lot of credit because he's been hitting the bleep out of the ball. I think his OPS is like 1.4 right now. He's been terrific this year. He really has. The extra added muscle is definitely showing that he put on because he's hitting the ball a lot harder than he ever did last year. That's one to be noted about how good he's been. When it comes to his role, weirdly enough, Stacey, I don't think we know yet, and I don't think the Yankees know yet either. Once Stanton's back, Stanton's going to play because Stanton also has a role on this team. I know Yankee fans like to hate on Giancarlo Stanton, but at the end of the day, Giancarlo Stanton is when you take the pace of how he plays, he's a 40 and 100 hitter, and he needs to be in the lineup every single day. It's just the truth of the matter. Weirdly enough, though, and it's not rooting for this or anything like that, but it is the truth. In sports, weirdly enough, these things have a weird way of working themselves out. They just do. Someone always gets hurt at the wrong time. Something happens to some player. I'm not rooting for it by any means, but this stuff just seems to always work its way out that way, and I just have a feeling that that'll happen. If not, the Yankees are going to find room for Ben Rice to bat on this lineup. A game like today where you saw Trent Grisham play in center field because Judge was DHing and Bellinger was in right, which, by the way, Bellinger proving that he can play anywhere in the field. I do think that maybe that decision changes later on in the season if both Ben Rice and Giancarlo Stanton are healthy. Maybe for that game, Judge is in center field. Maybe Goldschmidt gets the day off. Ben Rice plays first base. Giancarlo Stanton DHs. They will find room if Ben Rice has 20 home runs in June when Giancarlo Stanton's back. That's just how it'll work. Yeah. Just a side note, and this triggered my memory as I was discussing the fielding elements today. What a terrific play by Jason Dominguez earlier in the game. I believe it was the 4th inning. But when he was backpedaling and turning different ways, the Diamondbacks made a few errors in the outfield to start this game or miss. I don't know if they went down as errors, but they were misplays in the outfield. Mm-hmm. And the wind was clearly swirling around Yankee Stadium and the ball was hard to track out there. Dominguez made an absolutely terrific play, backpedaling and moving over to his left in a left field that we know is not easy to play. Just wanted to mention that because he didn't really show up on the stat sheet tonight, but he had a terrific hit to left center that was all power. I mean, to get on the outside part of the bat. I just want to give the guy his props because he hasn't had any fielding mishaps so far in the games that he's played. And, It was a major talking point, and it now feels like we were reaching for something. Not us particularly, but the media was reaching for something.
The collective us.
Correct. Yeah.
Not really us. But yeah, no, the hit, I was impressed by that hit. I was actually really impressed by that hit. Just the way yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a difficult part to hit in Yankee Stadium. It's difficult part of the park, and not a lot of hitters on the left side, on the outside part of the plate, are putting a ball in the gap over there.
Right.
And he put that ball to the track, Stacey. I mean, that's some serious power for a 22-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do this season. I have a feeling that it could be good. I also have the same feeling about Ben Rice. And as you said, Stanton is the veteran. Stanton is the guy who's making millions of dollars, but they will find a way to keep Ben Rice on the team if he's hitting the ball. They're not going to send him down.
No. Again, these things weirdly work their way out. They just do.
Yeah. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You get texts from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. Send out the lineups, the correct ones during the season, roster moves, breaking news, so you don't have to check social media, and you get top priority on Fanmail Friday. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up next, more Fanmail Friday questions from our insiders.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. And plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. You need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for the trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. And Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by Just Ingredients. Now, when it comes to fueling your body, quality matters, and that's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers an NSF-certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine, all rigorously tested to ensure they're free from substances banned by major athletic organizations. Just Ingredients is also partnered with two-time MVP Bryce Harper, who trusts their NSF-certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery. Now, I love that Just Ingredients prioritizes its wholesome, nourishing ingredients without all the artificial junk. And whether you're recovering after a workout or you need an energy boost, their grass-fed wheat protein and pre-workout delivers real results. Visit justingredients.us and use code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off your order. And for more wellness tips, just follow at just.ingredients on Instagram. And thanks again for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. Remember that every Friday is Fanmail Friday. You can leave questions underneath the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club to get top priority on Fanmail Friday. That link is in our description. So, Stacey, speaking of the aforementioned Fanmail Friday, we'll continue with this week's edition of Fanmail Friday, and that starts with our this is our insiders and our YouTube questions. Again, we thank you guys for getting the comments and the questions in on time and in due matter. You guys do a great job, as always, with the questions every week. This one comes from Gary C. Do you have any more insight into the Yes Comcast deal? When the president of the network was on the air blaming Comcast, he failed to mention how much money he was asking for. Obviously, the deal is done now. Just curious if you know any of the mechanics. Would love to see if they just end the blackouts on MLB TV so I could sync up the radio broadcast with the visuals like others get to. Basic negotiation tactics, Gary. He was never going to say a price live on the air on the Yes Network. That wasn't going to happen.
Well, I think the problem was Comcast wanted to put Yes in a totally different tier and make it more expensive than SNY.
Yeah, they wanted to put it in basically when you pay for your TV packages, they wanted to take Yes out of the general sports TV package, and they wanted to add it to more of a premium package for their customers. And Yes, basically sticking up for the Comcast customers was like, nah, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
There wasn't really like a, and again, if there was a price negotiation, he wasn't going to discuss that on Yes. The point of him going on Yes was to kind of put the pressure on Comcast and say, yeah, they're going to lose all these people, so figure it out.
Right.
And lo and behold, they figured it out. I do want to mention, though, the MLB TV not working for Yankees and Mets broadcasts, like on your phone when it comes to streaming, is unbelievably aggravating. We are the only city who still deals with blackouts because it's New York City, and I don't know why we still abide by these ancient rules, because it is ancient, right? That's the best way to put it. It's ancient to have games blacked out. We still do this for football, too, by the way. This is still a thing in New York sports. I don't understand why it doesn't affect how people watch it. With Roku, Amazon Fire Sticks, the million streaming services we have, plus the amount of people who are illegally watching games 24/7, you're not saving much and making people with the blackout games. It just aggravates. And again, I'm 27 years old. Stacey, you're really good with technology. We're going to find the game. Like whatever it's on, me or you are going to find the game. The people I feel bad for are the people like my grandmother who likes to religiously watch the Yankees every single day and goes to the S Network every night at 7 p.m. and can't find the game. And there's Yankees classics on a game that Ron Gehrig pitched in the 70s that she can't find because the game's on Amazon or it's on Apple TV or it's on wherever, and she can't find the game. And that happens more often than not now with the streaming process. I'm okay with blacking games out. It's just make it accessible for everybody. They have failed to do that, and they've allowed too much of the money to creep into this. It's gotten frustrating.
Yeah. By the way, I believe Gary is a new insider, so thank you for that first question, Gary.
Appreciate it.
Next, Eric S. If they have a bad season, do you think Hal would fire Boone and Cashman? And then he added, want a great season, but that would be a bright spot from a bad one.
Agreed, but no. I think they would have to have a monumentally bad season, which, quite frankly, the way this roster is built is just not going to happen. And the way that you can't cast aspersions over the first six games of the season, but you kind of can. The way that you've watched this team play over the first 6 games, they're not losing 120 games.
Right.
They're not. There's too much talent on the roster to allow that to happen.
Right.
Therefore, that's what it would take, in my opinion, Stacey. They'd have to have a monumental 115 loss season that they haven't had in 50 years almost to make that happen. That's the only thing, and they're too talented for that to happen. They might have a bad season and win like 80 games. I mean, that could happen, but that I don't think would do it either, to be honest. Ruben asks, why do you think the Yankees stopped hitting Wells leadoff against righties? Don't ask us. I mean, we want him playing leadoff. We want him leading off. I don't get it, Stacey. Again, we've mentioned this a bunch, and I think it makes us both look like baseball old heads, but it's the truth.
I am. No, I'm kidding.
baseball players are creatures of habit, and they like having the same thing back and forth. And I don't understand the motivation of changing up the lineup every single day, but the Yankees are obsessed with doing it. Have they had the same lineup out there in any of the 6 games? I don't think they have. I think it's been a different lineup literally every game.
Yeah,
by one spot.
I think parts of the lineup have been the same, but it's been different. Yeah.
Which I don't get. That's modern day baseball on certain teams. Certain teams are consistent every single day, and certain teams is a different guy playing a different position every day. I don't get it. I don't like it personally, but I think Wells is an excellent leadoff hitter. I do. High on base percentage, runs the bases very well, gets on base. The Yankees clearly don't agree with that. So, I don't get
why
Goldschmidt
would you
at
set
all.
him up for it in spring training, right? And keep batting him first and making everyone think, oh, and then opening day, yes, he's there. He does well. And then nothing since.
I don't get it. He wasn't bad at all. He was good in opening day too. So I don't understand.
I don't understand either. Thank you for the question, Ruben. Now we move on to our 2 questions from YouTube. The first one is from Casey Cotreau 7050. Who do you think will have a surprise season this year? One positive, one negative, not including injuries.
Interesting question on the positives and negatives. I'd love to see Rodon. I'm gonna say a guy that I think is going to have an excellent season, and I don't think it's necessarily too much of a surprise, but I think he'll still be excellent. I think it's gonna be Luke Weaver. I like what I've seen out of him so far. The velocity is back up. He went 2 innings earlier last night. He just has an it factor, right? There's an alarming amount of confidence out of him, and he is a very relaxed player out there, and I think that's key for guys in his situation, especially now being the 8th inning guy, where he's not going to be having to close games out, and he's so cool with it. Like, he doesn't care. He's like, yeah, 8th inning, 7th inning, start, 9th, I don't care. He'll play wherever. He just wants to play. I think there's potential that you're going to have a really, really great year out of Luke Weaver. I don't think it's necessarily much of a surprise, but if he had an under 2 ERA, I think that would be a surprise, and I think there's potential for that. I think he's got that kind of stuff.
How about the negative?
It's a really good one because right now, not a lot of people have been that negative for them, but I'm going to tease a topic that we are going to discuss at some point next week. And I think it'll be because of a negative impact. And I'm going to go with Oswaldo Cabrera at third base. To me, I've seen enough, if that makes sense. And I don't think he's a bad player. That's not me saying that. But I don't see consistent all-around hitter for 162 games a season out of him. I think there's a spot for him on a roster playing around the infield and filling in for at-bats here and there. Tell me if I'm wrong, Stacey. Have we not seen enough at-bats out of him to know if he's a full-time major leaguer or not?
I think so by now. Yeah.
And I don't think we've seen it.
Yeah. Like, they got him to be the guy to play all the different, like, he was going to be like this super utility guy. And then because
now he's a starting third baseman.
And because they didn't want to go out and get a third baseman, or give Oswald Peraza a chance to be third baseman.
Yeah, I don't get it. And we'll discuss that next week because Peraza, I think, should be fed up at this point. But we'll get into that next week because it's going to be a fair point that should be brought up because the play time is just I'm not trying to be a 14-year-old's dad who's not playing enough on the baseball team, but it feels that way because the kid's just not playing and he's got a little potential in the world. I don't understand why you wouldn't trot him out there here and there, but we'll get to it next week. Be tuned for that episode because it's going to be coming. The last question of this segment is from 145 Woody on YouTube. He says, is it fair to compare the 2025 Yankees to the Dodgers, or would it be more realistic to compare them to the rest of the American League?
I don't quite understand. Like, what does that mean? Like,
I don't know if he's trying to compare them to the Dodgers of this year. I will say, no, it's not fair to compare them to the Dodgers of this year. The Dodgers, yes, are that good. Right. They are. They've started the season off. What are they? Are they 8-0 or 9-0? No, they're 8-0. They've been outrageously great. Their pitching staff is top to bottom. 1 through 7, amazing.
Yeah.
Their bullpen's great. Their lineup is outstanding. You're going to see it this week. This weekend they're playing the Phillies, which is a great series to go watch. And yet the Dodgers, it just feels like are going to wipe the floor with the Phillies because they're that good. They just beat the Braves in a straight series who have gotten off to a slow start, but still to embarrass the Braves like that. No, the Dodgers are juggernauts. They are. It really feels like if the Yankees see them in the World Series, somehow the Yankees are going to have to hope for injuries.
Yeah. It would be ugly. All right. Coming up, we preview the weekend series in Pittsburgh against the Pirates next.
There is nothing better than catching a Major League Baseball game live, the crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the smell of ballpark food. And if you're looking to go last minute, Gametime makes getting tickets easier than ever. With last minute deals, all-in pricing, and a lowest price guarantee, Gametime takes up the stress of buying Major League Baseball tickets. And plus, the ticket prices drop as game times get closer, meaning that you can score an incredible deal. And Gametime's the official ticketing partner of Locked On, and the home opener already happened last week. The Pirates home opener is going to be later on today against the Yankees. And if you're in Pittsburgh and if you're going up to Pittsburgh to go see the game, you can get tickets as fast as you want to meet your needs. My sister bought tickets for a giant group of people for later on in April and used Gametime. And the ticket buying process for her was so easy. She loved that she can preview the exact seats before purchasing. There were no bad surprises for her at all. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create that account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So, Stacey, as you mentioned earlier in the episode, the Yankees are going to be playing the Pittsburgh Pirates over the weekend. They avoid Paul Skeens, so you don't get to see Skeens play at any of these games. All earlier games, too, if you're a person who prefers to have your night plans available for the weekend, you'll have them because the Yankees are playing all earlier games in, like you said, the debatedly, but I think wins a lot of these debates, most beautiful ballpark in all of baseball.
I've never been to Pittsburgh, but I like the skyline view better in Pittsburgh than
the water.
Yeah, like San Francisco, I don't know. Especially like, I don't know, does it seem like the cameras there are really high in the stadium?
Yeah, I think it's intentional. I know the broadcast booth in both stadiums is like ridiculously high because they want those views.
Yeah, but I
think those two consensusly are always the top two, though. Those two are consensusly always the two most beautiful stadiums in all of baseball. What about Tampa? Tampa's one of the more beautiful views in all of baseball, too, right?
Oh, yes. Wait, let's show everyone the view in Tampa because this was bad. Hold on. They opened up Tropicana Field to the media earlier in the week, and if you're not watching on YouTube, the field is gone, the concrete is exposed, the roof is still wide open. It's just
enjoy.
Wow. Although that does look kind of cool with the roof gone and the catwalk still up with the blue sky in the air. Like, that looks kind of cool. Like, if they could change it into something else and make it something else besides a baseball stadium.
Me and my friend were there a few months ago, and we decided to go drive past it. While it was in December, we were in Florida, and we were like, let's go drive past it to see what it looks like. And the parking lot of the stadium became a glorified homeless shelter. There were just homeless people everywhere living like by the ticket booth. No security, no fences up, raised signs that were like half torn down. It looked like just an abandoned area. Post-apocalyptic is how I'd prefer to it as. So I don't think the Rays are going back anytime soon at all. I don't know what's going to happen with them, but yeah, that picture was quite entertaining when it came up, honestly.
Yeah.
So Friday afternoon's game, I guess it's going to be a 4:12 first pitch. It's Pirates opening day at PNC Park. Is it still PNC Park? I hope so. I hate when stadium names change like that. It makes me feel less nostalgic. But that game will be on Yes, like all three of the games of the series. You're going to see Max Fried, who's 0-0 with a 3.86 ERA. He'll go up against Mitch Keller, 1-0 with a 1.50 ERA. Yankees have fared well against guys who had really good starts in their first appearance. And they've played poorly against guys who had bad starts in their first appearance. If you remember, Zach Gallen got lit up in his first start and then lit the Yankees up in his second start. Just like earlier today, what was it? Kelly was his last name.
Oh, yes. He was 1-0 with a 1.69 ERA heading into Thursday's game. And then
the Yankees put up 9 earned. So yeah, exactly. So it does, they've tended to, so let's hope against Mitch Keller, who is a good pitcher, they could potentially, be able to shut him down. Game 2, 4:05 p.m. A nice mid-afternoon Saturday game, just in time for the college basketball games to start. That'll also be on Yes. Marcus Stroman, 0-0 with a 5.79 ERA, going up against Bailey Falter, 0-0 with a 3 solid ERA. And then Game 3 will be a 1:35 start on Sunday afternoon. And it'll also be on Yes. Will Warren will get his second start of the season at 0-0 and 3.60. He'll see Andrew Heaney, who's 0-0 with a 1.80. So two pitchers who had good starts in their first appearances. We'll see if the Yankees can light them up. The Pirates are not a unbelievably great team, but they're spunky and they're young and they're looking to ruin some team seasons. And the You avoid Paul Skeens in this series. So let's see if the Yankees can. It's about being consistent at this time of the year, right?
Yeah.
These wins do count. And you do look back in October when the division is a 2-game race and be like, damn, those games would have been important. So, that's
Just
the
win
importance of you
series
saying
at this point.
4-2 is better than 3-3. So go 2-1 against the Pirates, and that's a solid weekend. And they'll head to Detroit after that.
Yep. The week is over. The first full week of baseball is over.
Wild.
And it flew by.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And when it gets to October, we're going to think in the throes of the season, in the midst of it, in the doldrums and in the dog days, you're just like, oh God, this is so long. And then when the playoffs hit, you're like, wow, that flew by.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it feels that way now for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels to me too. It's every baseball game is exciting. It's not a drag yet because it's so exciting and new, but it gets to the point in July when you're like, oh, another 9 innings of this. But it is very interesting how every year the season ends and you're like, where did all those games go? How is it 162 games? Every other sports season feels like it's so long, and baseball just feels like it can fly. Looking forward to it.
All right, if you're still watching and you're of a certain age, Brian was talking about baseball being exciting and new at this point in the season. What else is exciting and new? If you know what I'm thinking of right now, put it in the YouTube comments. If you're around my age, you'll understand the reference.
Okay.
Exciting and new. Think about it. Okay. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you next week.